Hey, if you're self-producing a band right now and you feel like your songs are almost there, like you just need to get them recorded and mixed, I need to stop you right there. Because there's a good chance you're about to make the most expensive mistake in self-production. Not expensive in money, expensive in time, energy and momentum. And the worst part is, it doesn't feel like a mistake when you're in it. It feels like progress. So stick with me, because what I'm about to tell you might completely change how you approach your next session. Here's what I see all the time. A band sends me their session for mixing, and when I open it up, I can hear it immediately. Great riffs, real energy, interesting layers. You can hear the hours that went into it. These are talented people, creative people, people who genuinely care about their music. But something is off, and it's not the tones. It's not the recording, it's not even the performances. It's the song itself. What's usually missing is something that feels whole, a structure that builds, tension that gets released at the right moment, a chorus that can actually hit different from the verse, a song that carries you from the first riff to the last note and lands. And when I listen closely, I can almost always hear the moment where the band stopped asking questions, where the song felt good enough in the room so they hit record. But here's the problem, the room is lying to you. And I don't mean that in a harsh way, I've been there too. When you're deep inside your own project, completely invested in every part you've built, it is incredibly hard to zoom out. You've heard that riff 200 times. You've played that chorus at every single rehearsal for 3 months. At some point, you just can't hear it anymore. And you can't tell if the verse actually sets up the chorus, or if it just kind of exists. You can't tell if the bridge does something real or if it's just floating there without a purpose. And suddenly, even though all the pieces are there, the song doesn't move people. It doesn't hit the way it should. So let's talk about why that happens and what you can actually do about it. But first, let me tell you a bit about where I'm coming from. Because I don't think this stuff should just come from theory. My name is Lucas, I run a mixing and mastering studio called LW Sonics, and I've been doing this full-time since 2009. But I didn't start in a fancy studio with perfect acoustics and all that gear. I started in my shared apartment and made my former roommates really happy doing so. So I started exactly where a lot of you are right now, recording my own bands in rehearsal rooms with whatever gear we could afford, figuring it out as we went. And I made every single mistake you can make. I recorded songs that felt amazing in the room and fell completely apart when I listened back. I spent hours on tones and textures for arrangements that didn't actually work. I pushed through mixes when the real problem was never the mix to begin with. From there I moved into proper studios, started recording other bands, eventually took over a large recording facility, built it from scratch actually, and then at some point I made a decision. I moved into a smaller room because the work I care most about, the work that actually makes the difference, is with bands who record themselves. DIY bands. Self-produced, working with limited gear and unlimited passion. Today almost everything I do is remote. Mixing and mastering for bands who track their own music. Some of them are recording their first EP in a rehearsal space. Others are already touring, getting vinyl pressed and pitching to labels. But they all have one thing in common. They care deeply about their music. They want to stay in control of it, and they want it to actually sound like something. And over the years, after working with hundreds of self-produced sessions, I've seen the same patterns repeat over and over. And the most common one has nothing to do with gear. It has to do with the song not being ready. So let me explain what I mean. There's a huge difference between playing a song and actually listening to a song. When you're playing, you're inside the music. You're focused on your instrument, on your timing, on the energy in the room. And your brain fills in the gaps automatically. Something drifts, you compensate without thinking. A transition is rough, you push through it. A section runs long, you don't even notice, because you're part of the machine. But when you listen back, you step outside of it completely. Now you hear it the way anyone else would. And suddenly, that transition sounds wrong. That section is way too long, the chorus doesn't lift, the verse doesn't pull you in. It's like watching footage of yourself playing live. In the moment, it felt massive. On the recording, you see everything clearly. And this is where what I call the rehearsal room illusion kicks in. Most bands believe if it feels good in the room, the song must be good. But what you're feeling in that room is not just the song, it's the volume, the physical impact of the drums hitting your chest, the guitars through the cabs 2 feet from your head, the shared energy of the whole band going at it together. That is a completely different experience from what a listener gets. Because when someone hits play on your track, they're alone, on their headphones, in their car, doing something else. And all of that energy is gone. What's left is just the song. And if the song can't carry the moment on its own, it falls apart. That's why so many bands say it sounded better live. Of course it did. Live, the performance carries the song. But on a recording, the song has to carry itself. Here's something that might actually surprise you. Most mixing problems I deal with, they don't come from the mix. They come from the arrangement, from the fact that the song never really decided what it wanted to be. And without someone from the outside questioning your structure, your transitions, your pacing, your dynamics, you just keep adding things. More layers, more overdubs, more parts, thinking more is more. But in reality, you're making it harder and harder to hear what the song actually is. And that's exactly what pre-production is supposed to prevent. That's the phase where you test the structure before you hit record, where you map out the emotional movement, where you make sure the chorus actually hits above the verse, that the bridge changes something, breaks something open instead of just filling time. Without that step, you're polishing disconnected parts. You're trying to fix a structure problem with EQ. You're mixing an arrangement that doesn't work yet. And I promise you, no plugin can fix that. Hey, real quick before we get into the practical stuff, if you're watching this and thinking, okay, but I'm not sure if my song has these problems, I can actually help you figure that out. I've opened up 3 slots where you can send me your demo or whatever you're about to record, and I'll listen to it properly and give you honest professional feedback on it. Where it's at, what's working, what isn't, for free. But it's only 3 slots, and once they're gone, they're gone. So if that sounds useful, the link is below. Apply there and I'll be in touch. All right, let's get into the practical stuff. So, how do you actually know if a song is ready to record? Here are the things I check, and I'd encourage you to be honest with yourself on every single one. 1, everyone knows their part, completely. Not kind of, not we'll figure it out once we're tracking, I mean fully internalized. Every section, every transition, every dynamic shift. If your drummer drops out of a bar, does everyone else still know where exactly they are? If the answer is anything other than yes, the song isn't ready and you guys aren't ready to record. 2, you can play it to a click without falling apart, without drifting, without sections suddenly rushing because the energy picks up. This is a big one, because in recording you don't have room for uncertainty. If the timing isn't locked before you hit record, you will spend hours fixing it later, or you will live with it, and it will bother you every time. This does not mean you have to record with a click track, but practice with a click track. 3, your transitions actually make sense. This is the most overlooked thing. How does one part lead into the next? Does the energy build intentionally? Does it drop on purpose? Does it feel like something that was supposed to happen? Or does it feel like, and now we go into the chorus? Because that's where songs either pull you forward or completely lose you. Transitions aren't just musical glue, they're emotional cues. They prepare the listener for what's coming. If they feel uncertain, the whole song feels uncertain. 4, the song works stripped back. Not stripped back as an acoustic, I mean play it at low volume. Record a rough scratch take. 1 guitar, a rough vocal, nothing else. Does the structure still make sense? Does the chorus still feel like a chorus? Does the riff still have a point? Or does it only work because of the volume, the layers, the full band hitting at once? Because if the song needs production to function, it is not ready yet. 5, you can listen to it objectively. Record a rough version, step away a day, 2 days, come back, put on a track that you actually respect, something that hit you hard the first time you heard it. Then put yours on and ask yourself honestly, not as the person who wrote it, but as a listener. Would I keep listening to this? Does it hold my attention? That is a hard question, but it's the right one. Now, when all of this is actually falling in place, everything changes. Recording sessions move faster because nobody's questioning anymore. The decisions are already made. Performances are tighter because everyone knows exactly what they're doing and why. Mixing becomes cleaner because the song already works before I even open the session. I'm not trying to rescue structure problems with the cue. I'm not hiding arrangement issues behind saturation. I'm just making something that already works sound as good as it can. And most importantly, the song connects because it has direction, it has intention. It takes the listener somewhere. Not just strong moments strung together, but a song that means something when it's over. I've seen what happens when bands go through this process properly. The next sessions are on a completely different level. Takes are tighter, arrangements are more focused, the intention is clear before anyone hits record. And those bands start getting real results. Better gigs, bigger stages, releases that actually get noticed. Momentum that lasts. That is the long game. That is the difference between making songs and building something real. So again, if you are working on songs right now and something feels off, but you can't quite name it, or you got demos that are almost there, but you're not sure what's holding them back, I've opened up 3 slots for free feedback. You send me your demo, your rough recording, your session, wherever you're at, and I'll actually listen. I'll tell you what's already working, what's holding the song back, and what I would focus on next. No fluff, no automated reply, no sounds good, just mix it better. Real feedback from someone who does this every day. And if it makes sense to work together after that, great. If not, you still walk away knowing exactly what your next step should be. The only catch, 3 slots. I'm in session full time, I can't do this for everyone, so if you want in, the link is below. Once those slots are gone, that's it. So self-producing your band is one of the best things you can do. Full control over your music, over how it sounds, over how it gets released. But full control also means full responsibility. And that can get heavy, especially when things don't come together the way you imagined them. The good news is, you don't have to carry all of that alone. You're not the first band to hit that wall, and you won't be the last. I've been there, and I'm here to help. If this video gave you something useful, subscribe or just stay connected. There's more on the channel that might speak directly to where you're at right now. And maybe I'll hear your track next. See you soon. Bye bye.